Welcome to the Trippi Coaching Podcast. I'm Andrea Trippi, your weight loss and confidence coach, along with Tommy Else, personal trainer. And we've all been there, stuck in a hotel room or a tiny apartment, or even just trying to squeeze in a quick workout throughout the busy day. It can feel almost impossible to stay on track with your fitness goals when space is limited. But that's why we have our personal trainer, who else but Tommy Else, here with us today. He's going to walk us through a simple and effective workout routine that you can do anywhere, whether you have a lot of room or just a little corner to work with. So let's jump right in with Tommy.
The Trippi Coaching Podcast is sponsored by Hairborn Salon. This week, we take a look at Kay. You will not find another stylist more dedicated to the beauty industry than Kay. After starting his career in the late 70s, Kay has explored every avenue from aesthetics, barbering, education, and salon ownership. Kay takes a special place in Hairborn's heart after mentoring Dave and Christina during their cosmetology school years. After decades of experience, he joined the team in 2020, pledging to cut hair until he can't anymore. Kay's good vibes and expert hand will leave you feeling confident and happy with your new look. Visit hairbornsalon.com, book your appointment today, and tell them the Trippi Coaching Podcast sent you to receive 10% off your next service.
Hey, Tommy.
Andrea, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Today, we will be talking about a simple workout routine. We have been asked many times by people in Q&A and on our Facebook page if there was any sort of simple routine that they could do. This is a routine that I've given out many times to people who are on the road, in a hotel room, trying to get something in at the office. You can do it in roughly 20 some minutes or so. One of my clients who used it quite a bit affectionately named it the Big Four. So that's what I'm going to call it. It's 4 exercises that you can do back to back in a circuit style, and we'll go through those. It is a total body workout. Mm-hmm. So let's start. First thing is push-ups. So if you so when we were doing push-ups, you got to think about what muscles are we working here. So pushing motions are your chest, and it's assisted by your triceps and your shoulders, a little bit with the back. When you're in a push-up position, imagine being in a high plank where you're up on your hands. It's the same idea. So your core is also engaged as well. Your quadriceps, your legs, the fronts of your legs, and your calves and your hamstrings are also flexed and under tension. So just being in a push-up position on its own is an isometric, okay? And now we've engaged all the muscles in the body just on that alone. Now we bring in the dynamic portion of it where we push up and down. Now, if you can't do them on your feet, you can do them on your knees. If doing it on your knees is tough, lean up against a wall. Any modification you have to do is perfectly fine. Whatever level of difficulty works for you is great. How many should you do? Shoot for 10. If you can't do 10, start tracking how many you can do. Let's say you can do 5. Do your 5, and then I'll bet you after you have done this routine, a couple of weeks, you'll see that 5 turn into 7, turn into 10, and maybe more. Mm-hmm. If you can already do 10, find your difficulty level. Where do you feel like you're really trying to push yourself? The next one is just your good old freestanding squat. Let's look at the muscle groups there. You're using every part of your lower body. You're using your calves, you're using your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your glutes, everything from the waist down. But you're also using your core. As you squat up and down, it needs to balance your upper body. Okay, if you do the arm scoop with it, you're also engaging your shoulders and your back. You can do this freestanding. You can do this off of a chair, where you can sit down into a chair and then just stand back up. Some people might need to have like a wall next to them just for a little extra balance, depending on what your physical condition is in. Let's say that you can't get up and down that far. Give me a half squat. Give me whatever you can. If it's a slight bend of the knees, just whatever. How many would you do? Again, I for this one I would say closer to maybe 15 to try to shoot for, a little higher in reps. Some people do 25. You know, if you can do 10, and that's where you start feeling like you're hitting your mark, then it's up to you. It's just a matter of finding you. Once you do it a couple of times, you'll start finding like where your reps are, and then you'll be able to make adjustments and fine tune it as you go. So now we're going to move into movement number 3, which is a plank. Now you can do a plank a couple different ways. We can do a bunch of different ways, but you typically see one of two. There's the high plank where it looks like the push-up position, where you're up on your hands and your arms are straight, or what I call a low plank, where you're just on your elbows and you've got a flat back. For this particular circuit, we're going to go with the low plank because we've already been up on our arms and our shoulders in that first motion when we did the push-ups. So now we're going to bring it down and we're going to try to engage more of the core. So in a plank, once again, it's a full body isometric. And an isometric means that you're flexing your body's muscles and using them for energy, but there's no movement to it. In the plank, once again, everything from the waist down is engaged. You've got your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your glutes, your calves, all engaged. Now, your core is really going to come into play here because all the way around from your abdominal wall in the front, which is what people would look at as, say, your six-pack or whatever. There's your obliques, which are the muscles on the side, which are responsible for twisting or bending side to side. And then, of course, your low back behind you. So that all combined makes up your core, and every aspect of that needs to be flexed and held tight to hold up your body in this position. Now, one of the things that is very important when you're doing a plank is breathing. Too many people get into, and this is important regardless of any exercise you're doing, but I find it very common in a plank. People hold their breath. The reason they do this is because it does tighten up the muscles a little bit, and it makes you feel like you've got a little more security, but you're also depriving yourself of oxygen. And your muscles, as you breathe, have to work harder to hold you in place. So there's two benefits here. You're actually going to get a better workout out of it, and you're delivering more oxygen in the blood to those muscles so that they can perform better. Try to just sit on a couch and hold your breath for 30 seconds. Let alone sit there and do it in a plank or hold your breath while you're doing squats. You have to breathe. People ask, when do you breathe? When is the right rhythm? So in through the nose, out through the mouth for when you breathe. But I always tell people that you exhale on the exertion of the force. Okay. So if you're doing a squat, you breathe out as you push yourself back up. You breathe in as you come down. If you're doing push-ups, you breathe out as you push yourself up. Imagine blowing yourself up off of the floor and then breathing in as you come down. If you're in an isometric where you are just sitting there, it's just important to just keep steadily breathing, but you don't want to hold your breath. With the plank, okay, let's say that you have a hard time holding a flat plank. Again, there's modifications there. You don't have to be up on your feet. You can come down to your knees. You can go and lean into a couch and get on a 45-degree angle and just find whatever angle you have to. Even if you lean up against the wall at a 45-degree angle and try to hold that for a minute. As far as length of time, it depends. Everybody's different. You just start with however long you can hold it from the get-go. If you can hold it for 10 seconds, great. And now you just keep trying to push and beat that every time you get out there. And it'll take a little time, but you'll see the more consistent you are with doing these exercises, you will see the progress and see that you start getting further in your times and in your reps. Lastly is the wall sit, which is also an isometric. Now here again, we have your lower body, everything from the hips down, glutes, hamstrings, quadriceps, and calves all engaged. But we also are still working the core here because your body needs to be, your core is holding your upper body up as you are sitting up against the wall. If you don't know what a wall sit looks like, you're basically sitting up against the wall with your legs at a 90-degree angle, nothing underneath you. This is, again, try to keep it as you just do it for as long as you feel comfortable with. Breathe steadily throughout the whole thing. And if you can't get into that 90-degree angle, try to just do it at a 45-degree angle, or even if it's just legs slightly bent. So we're doing all of these in what's called circuit. So you're going to do your push-ups. Then you're going to stand up and do your squats. Now we're going to go down to the floor, hit the plank, stand up, do the wall sit, and now we're going to take a break. I would suggest somewhere between 2 and 3 minutes, depending. And if you feel like you need longer, that's fine. But once you get an idea of what your rhythm is as far as your recovery, then try to stick to it. So if you find that it takes 3 minutes for you to recover in time to be able to do the next round again, that's fine. But then try to keep that consistent as you go forward. Keeping a rhythm in this is also important to the actual workout itself. So then repeat this process 3 times through, and you're looking at, again, 20 minutes, I think, at the most to do all of this, breaks included.
20 minutes of a full body workout, a core workout, and a cardio blast from doing them sequentially like that.
Right.
Which is awesome. Great workout.
So upper body, lower body, core, everything's getting hit in there. And then again, keeping that pace keeps the heart rate up, and you'll be glad you did it.
Great, Tommy. This is excellent. And if you're looking for any type of form help or any type of personalized help, please reach out to the Trippi Coaching Podcast. Tommy would be happy to help you along your journey. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Tommy, for that. I'm sure this will help a lot of people.
I hope so. Well, with that, as always, as always, I, of course.
Who are you?
I'm who else but Tommy else.
And I am Andrea Trippi. And until the next time, here's to a healthier, more confident you.
The Trippi Coaching Podcast is produced and mixed by me. Who else but Tommy else? Theme song provided by Professor Click. Be sure to check him out at ProfessorClick.com. All one word, KLIQ.com. The content provided in the Trippi Coaching Podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional, medical, health, wellness advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Be sure to like, rate, and review the show, and you may hear your review read on a future episode. And follow the Trippi Coaching Podcast on Facebook for exclusive content.